deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. Listen to Craig Stammen's post-game comments. Plus, we'll bring you today's play of the game. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
Back here at Petco Park, welcoming you to our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score in the middle game of this three-game series, the Pirates won and the Padres nothing. A lot to do in our post-game coverage. We'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen coming up in a little bit. We'll recap this game from start to finish and give you all you need to know about this one, as the Padres have lost the first two games of this three-game series to Pittsburgh. As always, our post-game coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort, a player with epic SoCal views, a full bar and poolside bites. Starlight Pool at Jamul Casino Resort is pool season perfected, and day passes are available. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Well, for a second straight night, this ends up being a one-run loss for the San Diego Padres, and the story of the night, really, the starting pitcher set the tone. Michael King, outstanding. 7 shutout innings. Paul Skeens, also outstanding. 6 shutout innings. And once these starting pitchers began to settle in, and the game was scoreless going into the later innings, it just became a matter of which bullpen would blink first when King came out and when Skeens came out, and what offense could scratch across a run. And the answer was the Padres bullpen, and of all people, Mason Miller gives up a go-ahead solo home run with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning to O'Neal Cruz. It's a go-ahead solo home run against Miller. Miller giving up not only his first home run of the season, but his first home run in more than a calendar year since August 5th, 2025. So truly a stunner here tonight. Mason Miller giving up a home run for the first time all year, for the first time in a 73-game, 76 and 2/3 inning span. And it was O'Neal Cruz who can hit the ball about as hard as anybody. Cruz got a changeup, a hard changeup, and he sends a line drive over the right field fence, and the Padres get shut out here tonight. They only had 3 hits against Paul Skeens. They did not have a hit against the Pirate bullpen, and the Padres offense, look, ultimately they've scored 3 total runs in this series through 2 games. So disappointing night for the Padres offense. Certainly a tough customer on the mound tonight in Paul Skeens, who I thought looked really good. That guy looked like the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner, not the guy that had been very up and down his last 10 starts or so. Skeens seemed to really find it here tonight. Michael King certainly equally as good, but again, it was going to be about which bullpen would blink first, and unfortunately, Mason, of all people, is the guy who blinks first, gives up a home run, and the Pirates win this game by a final score of 1-0. When we come back, we'll get into our game recap. We will talk plenty about what Michael King did tonight. He was outstanding, and much, much more, as the Padres have dropped the first 2 games of this 3-game series at Petco Park. Our post-game coverage continues from downtown San Diego after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here tonight, the Pirates 1 and the Padres nothing. We'll have our full game recap for you in just a little bit. We'll also hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen, get into our daily awards, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard as well. Let's recap this one from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, we had a marquee pitching matchup here tonight. Michael King on the mound for the Padres against Paul Skeens on the mound for the Pirates. Skeens making just his second start against the Padres in his career and his first ever start in this building. Early on, both righties got in trouble. Pirates loaded the bases against King in the first inning, but King got out of it. In the bottom half, Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a leadoff double. Skeens retired the next three hitters. From that point on, these guys really settled in. King worked around a single in the second, a single in the third. Skeens dealt with a runner on second base in the bottom of the third, but after 3 innings, still no score. Both tossed the scoreless fourth inning, both tossed the scoreless fifth inning, both tossed a scoreless sixth inning. Skeens was done after 87 pitches. We thought the Pirates might be cautious with his pitch count tonight. They were. They took him out after 6 innings. Michael King pitched a 1-2-3 top of the seventh. 7 brilliant shutout innings tonight for Michael King. Right-hander Camilo Doval came on for the bottom half of the inning. Doval issued a leadoff walk, but he retired the next 3. A scoreless game going top 8. Adrian Morejon came in 6 pitches later. He retired the side in order. Lefty Gregory Soto came on for the Pirates in the 8th inning. He retired the side in order. So I think in Padres Radio Network history, that is the fastest I've ever gone through 8 innings of a ball game, of our game recap. But there were no highlights to play for you in those first 8 innings, in large part due to the great starting pitching of Michael King and Paul Skeens. So we went to the top of the 9th inning, still a 0-0 game. Mason Miller came on for the Padres after throwing 30 pitches last night. Miller got a ground out from Brian Reynolds for out number 1. Nick Gonzalez flew out to right field for out number 2. But then O'Neill Cruz stepped in for Pittsburgh.
0-1 the pitch. Miller delivers, and that's launched in the air deep down the right field line and gone. A home run for the first time this year. Mason Miller gives up a homer, and O'Neill Cruz has put the first run of the night on the board, 1-0 here in the 9th.
An absolute stunner. Mason Miller not only giving up his first home run of the season, his first home run allowed in more than a calendar year since early August of last season. So Cruz hitting the home run, his 17th of the year. That gave Pittsburgh a 1-0 lead. It was the left-hander Mason Montgomery who came in for the save opportunity in the bottom half of the 9th inning. He got Jay Cronenworth to pop out. Manny Machado called out on strikes for out number 2. Then Ty France drew a 2-out walk. Jace Bowen pinch ran for France. Bowen stole second base. So the Padres did have the tying run in scoring position. Jackson Merrill at the plate with the Padres down to their final strike.
Tying run at second, 2 outs. 1-2 to Merrill. Montgomery delivers. Jackson swings and misses, strike 3, and the ball game is over. O'Neill Cruz, a homer in the top of the 9th to break a scoreless tie. And the Padres have lost back-to-back games for the first time in over a month. 1-0. Pittsburgh will take this game. They will take this series. And tomorrow afternoon, the Padres will try and avoid a sweep.
Final totals here tonight for the Pirates. 1 run on 6 hits, no errors. For the Padres, no runs, 3 hits, and no errors. The Padres went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They left 5 on base. The Pirates went 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. They left 5 on base. But again, the only swing that mattered tonight, the Cruz home run off Miller in the 9th inning. Mason Miller takes the loss. He drops to 4-2, and Mason Montgomery picks up the save, his 6th of the season. The win for Pittsburgh goes to Gregory Soto with that scoreless 8th inning. He improves to 6-4. Another sold-out crowd here tonight at Petco Park. The 55th sellout of the season, more than 40,000 in the building here tonight. Padres dropped to 71-62. The Pirates improved to 65-69. And I do have some bad news to report on the out-of-town scoreboard. The Cubs had a 4-0 lead heading to the bottom of the 8th inning against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The D-backs get 3 in the 8th inning. They win it on a Ryan Waldschmidt walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Diamondbacks win tonight over the Cubs 5-4, meaning the Diamondbacks do pick up a game on the Padres. The Padres lead for that final wild card spot in the National League is down to 1. And, fortunately, the Mariners beat the Phillies tonight as well. So the Padres would have had an opportunity to pick up ground on the Phillies to maintain a 2-game lead on Arizona, but instead they see that lead for the final wild card spot in the NL go down to a single game, with Arizona coming back to win against Chicago tonight. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Again, the final score here tonight: Pirates 1, Padres nothing. Our postgame coverage continues after this. Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight: Padres fall 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Pirates in the middle game of this 3-game series. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. As we wrap this one up, we'll head downstairs here from Craig Stammen in just a little bit. But right now, let's tell you about our performance of tonight's game.
The big hit, the crucial strikeout. Yeah! Who had the biggest impact on the outcome of today's game? This is the performance of the game, presented by Navy SEAL Museum San Diego. Extraordinary missions, everyday principles. Discover what it means to serve something greater. Dive in and plan your visit at NavySealMuseumSD.org.
Field first one out, no score. Davis grounds it up the middle, right by the bag. Cronenworth has it at second, throws to first in time in a double play. Boy, you talk about tailor-made. It rolled right to Jake standing at second base. 0-1, grounded to the right side. France way off the line, has it on the backhand. To Bogarts one, back to first. King covering in time, and another double play. This one will end the top of the fifth.
Well, despite the final score here tonight, Michael King certainly delivered our performance of the game in this one. 7 brilliant shutout innings, 5 hits allowed. He walked 2, struck out 7, did face some trouble early in this game. Bases loaded, 2 outs. In fact, the Pirates had runners on second and third with 1 out. King got out of it, struck out 3 in the first inning, worked around a single in the second, a single in the third, a walk in the fourth inning, a hit batsman in the fifth inning, a single in the sixth inning. In fact, his lone 1-2-3 inning of the day was his final inning in the seventh. So he wasn't perfect in this game, but man, oh man, really great outing for Michael King. 98 pitches, through 7 shutout innings. And the thing that stood out tonight about Michael King in particular is he absolutely poured in the first pitch strikes. 24 of 26 batters he faced here tonight, he threw first pitch strikes to. So that is a remarkable percentage. 24 out of 26 tonight he faced saw first pitch strikes. He got ahead of 0-1. So that was a big reason Michael put together the kind of night he did tonight. And I will tell you, in the big picture of the Padres situation of their season, Michael King looking the way he did tonight, 7 shutout innings, really, and I know he got in trouble and he gave up some hits and he issued some walks and he hit a guy, but Michael King looking that dominant tonight, it's a big deal for the Padres. I mean, we've talked about it at length. He's, sort of been searching for that A++ command and stuff all year. It feels like it's really eluded him most of the season, but here tonight, he really was dialed in. So if that's a sign of things to come for Michael King, that is a very good thing. But unfortunately, he gets a no decision here tonight as the Padres fall 1-0. Before we hear from Craig, just to give you another thought on this game, the other way this game hurts tonight, and we talked about it last night, I do think at this point of the season, with how much these guys have been worked, but also what we understand about the Padres, which is Morahone and Miller and their bullpen as a whole, the bullpen is so incredibly important to this team and their success the rest of the way. And quite frankly, I think their success in October, hopefully they can get there. To lose a couple of games where you really had to push Morahone and Miller, it hurts. Look, I thought there was a chance Mason Miller would be unavailable for this game tonight, considering Miller threw 30 pitches, a season high, in yesterday's game. And they brought him back out for the 9th inning today. He ends up giving up his first home run of the season, his first home run in more than a calendar year to O'Neal Cruz. Does that have anything to do with the fact that he's coming out after working really hard last night? I don't know. I can't answer that. The only person that could answer that would be Mason, I presume. I have no idea if that had any impact on the reason he gave up a home run. I mean, look, he faced a powerful hitter who hits the ball as hard as anybody in O'Neal Cruz, and Cruz got him on a line drive to right. But the bottom line is you used Morahone tonight after he threw 2 innings yesterday. Now, Morahone, the inning couldn't have been easier. I mean, it could have been a little bit easier, I suppose, but he threw 6 pitches and looked like he barely broke a sweat. Then you had Miller back out there. The point being, you've now used Morahone and Miller heavily back-to-back days, and you don't have a win to show for it. And with this Padres club in particular, that hurts, because I would highly presume that neither one of those guys is going to pitch tomorrow. I certainly would expect that neither will be available tomorrow. So now all of a sudden you're dealing with, a bullpen tomorrow, potentially without Morahone and Miller, and you've had to work them hard. And now you're trying to avoid a sweep tomorrow. So we said it yesterday, any loss this time of year hurts, but it's going to burn a little bit more on nights where you have to use your bullpen, A, heavily, and B, go to Mason and Adrian, and you can't get a win. So unfortunately, the last 2 days, last 2 losses, I think they do burn a little bit more because of the way the Padres had to use the pen. With all that in mind, let's go downstairs, hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
How stunning was that? What happened in the ninth there?
Yes. He's human. It's part of the gig when you're pitching. Every once in a while, someone's going to get you. Last I checked, no one's gone a full 162 season without giving up a run. And, every once in a while it's going to happen. Unfortunately, tonight, it was one of those games where it's a tie ball game and cost us.
What you take away from this game then probably is Michael and then the offense again struggling against pretty good pitching, starting pitching.
Yeah, really good pitching. I mean, they definitely upgraded their bullpen. Their bullpen's pretty nasty. And, we faced the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner tonight who had been struggling a little bit, but is definitely back on his game today. So, a lot of tough pitching we faced the last 2 days. We haven't been able to break through. We had a few guys in scoring position. Toddy led off the game with that double, and we just weren't able to move them around. So we've got to be able to take advantage of those, not as many opportunities as best we can in games like this with such good pitching on the other side. And, hopefully we can get that done tomorrow.
Mason's obviously pitched a lot lately. Do you think that maybe had anything to do with the home run that he gave up? It was so jarring.
No, I don't. I hope not. I mean, I think whenever you give up hits, you can think of any number of excuses: where the pitch was, what the pitch was, how hot it was outside, how cold it was outside, where the wind was blowing, what kind of bat the hitter was using, what kind of swing he took. Was he right-handed or left-handed? All those things. Was he pitching too much? Has he pitched too much? I think when a pitcher like Mason says, hey, give me the ball, you're willing and able to give him the ball, especially in where we are at in the season.
How did that conversation go pregame? Was it just like that? He
says, no, I feel great. I'm ready to go. So taking for his word.
Michael tonight, as many first pitch strikes as he was throwing and kind of commanding counts. What did you make of where his performance tonight stacked up against some other really good ones this season?
Yeah, really good outing for him. Definitely attacked the zone really well tonight. I think he got out of that jam in the first inning, and then from there on cruised pretty well. But they were swinging early, and he was throwing strikes early, and that his pitch count was a little high at the beginning, and then it's has really gotten a good spot there in that 5th, 6th, 7th inning. So he cruised through that 7th. If he had a few more bullets in the tank, he probably would have been out able to keep going longer.
These ones hurt more because you used Miller, Morahone, both these, and you lost both of them. Probably means tomorrow they may not be available.
Yeah, the good thing is that hasn't happened very often this year. Usually when we use them, we come out on the good end of games, and unfortunately the last two were very tightly contested games, tie ball games when we brought them in. Tie games are always in the balance, and we just came up one run short both games. So back at it tomorrow, but we got a really good bullpen, and I know those guys will pick those two up just like those two have picked the other guys up all year.
How remarkable is it that, Mason, 30 pitches is a lot, and that he was like, all right, I'm in today.
Yeah, he's a stud. I mean, we talk about how great he is on the mound. He's as great a player as you could ask for in all facets of it. And every, box that you want checked, he checks. Works his tail off in the weight room, in the training room, knows when he's able to pitch. And he'll tell us. There was a time last week where he wouldn't have been able to do that. But now he had a little bit of time off, and now he feels really good and felt like he could take the ball for the team and try to get us a win.
The highs have been incredible, like Manny and Merrill, and the steep dives. There have been some pretty big skids. Like, what are you seeing from Jackson in particular here?
Yeah, he's probably just going outside the zone a little bit more, and I think teams have been matching up with him with some tough lefties here a lot lately too. So we'll have to, think about how that looks lineup-wise and, his approach-wise, but I know he's working very hard every day, and, eventually he's going to break out of it just like he did earlier this year and not too long ago and get back to the hot Jackson that we love.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen following this 1-0 defeat against the Pittsburgh Pirates here tonight. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. Our postgame coverage, as always, brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. I do want to correct one thing I said earlier. I said 30 pitches was a season high for Mason. It's tied for the second most he's thrown this year. In fact, he's thrown 33 times this season, including last night. He did throw 34 4 against Seattle in May. So it's up there as far as the most pitches he's thrown this year, but technically not the most he's thrown this season. I think you get the point. He had to work hard yesterday. I mean, those were 30 pitches. They were not 30 easy pitches. He had to work really hard in that 9th inning, high stress pitches, if you will, for Mason yesterday, and came back out today, gave up his first home run of the season. And look, good for Mason for looking at Craig and saying he's available. I'm sure, it's one of the, first things that was on Craig's to-do list today was go to Mason and say, how you feeling? And, Mason, I'm sure, wants to pitch and said, I'm fine. And, he probably is fine. But again, you heard the question there, essentially what we wondered before we heard from Craig, which is, does working as hard as he worked yesterday and just pitching as much as he's pitched in general this season, does it play an impact in giving up a home run tonight? I think it's hard to say that for sure. I don't know what Mason would say. But you do wonder it, right, when a guy, has a stunner. I mean, look, nobody's hit a home run off Mason, or quite frankly, at that quality of contact off Mason. I think Cruz hit it at 111 off the bat. Now, Cruz hits missiles. He hit it at 112 off the bat. So he crushed it. I mean, he hit a line drive that got out. So it happens. And like Craig said, there are a lot of things you can point to when you give up a home run. One thing, and I'll have to talk to Tony, I don't want to misquote him. I was on my way down to the field when Mason gave up the home run. I actually saw it on TV as I was getting in the elevator to go downstairs. And I think I heard Tony on the television broadcast say, him talk about how that changeup, it was a changeup at 98 miles per hour. And that's a hard changeup. Everything Mason throws is hard, obviously. But that's a hard enough changeup where the separation isn't a ton. So, again, you can throw a hard changeup, but if you don't have enough separation to the fastball, you can get in some trouble, if you can't change the speeds enough. And I thought that's what Tony was alluding to on the television broadcast tonight. So, look, it happens. Mason's not perfect. He's human, like Craig said. There was something else I was going to get to here that was on the tip of my tongue right after I talked about Mason Miller. What was it that Craig talked about? So I got to write things down, folks. Oh, Jackson Merrill. That was it. Great job, Kyle. Kyle in my ear saying Jackson Merrill. Good job, Kyle. Let's talk about Jackson for a second. Couple of thoughts here. He has had a tough 2 games against Pittsburgh. Now, 2 offers do not define anything. Okay, he's gone 0 for 9. He struck out 4 times, and he struck out in some really big spots the last couple of days, and he is chasing. Now, we've seen Jackson chase before. We also know that with Jackson, his aggressiveness is quite frankly part of what makes him who he is when he's at his absolute best. Jackson's been very peak and valley lately. He was so red hot at the end of that homestand, the homestand that finished the last one, that finished up against Milwaukee. He had a really tough road trip where he went, I think it was 2 for 25. I'm trying to do the numbers right now, but I believe what we wrote down, a handful of days ago was 2 for 25 on the road trip to Cleveland and New York. Had a really tough road trip where he struck out a ton. But then he had a couple of days against Minnesota where he hit home runs back-to-back days on Saturday and Sunday and looked a lot better. And quite frankly, I thought that was so encouraging for Jackson because he did something, and I talked about it, I think, on Sunday on the postgame. He did something that he did so well in his rookie year in particular, which was he never let slumps become extended slumps. He never let a bad road trip turn into a bad couple of weeks. He never let a bad week turn into, a bad 3. You get the point. He never went through like a super duper long, extended, multi-week slump. Now, he did sort of go through that in the first half of the season, but I just like the way after what was such a tough road trip where he was striking out a ton, he then bounced back the minute he got home and got himself back right again. in the last 2 days, he's kind of gone back into, again, it's 2 games. I don't want to get crazy here, making grand proclamations on 2 games, but it's been a tough 2 games for him because he struck out in some big spots and he's chasing in a way that, I think what we've learned about Jackson is he's an aggressive hitter. He likes to swing. He will tell you that. But when he's chasing out of the strike zone, to a certain degree, that tends to be, it seems, when Jackson starts to struggle and strikes out quite a bit. And it's been that way the last 2 days. So, look, no doubt it's been a tough couple of days for Jackson, but you know what? Tough couple of days, just like a tough couple of losses. They do not define, your week or your season or any of that. So hopefully Jackson bounces back tomorrow. But look, no doubt it's been a tough couple of days for the Padres offense. Now, they have faced some very good pitching. The right-hander Braxton Ashcraft has had a great year. He was great yesterday, and you got to give credit to this Pirates bullpen. I mean, they have been really good, and don't get fooled by their bullpen ERA this year. This is a team that has vastly upgraded their pen. Tell you what, Duvall has looked good. Soto has looked good. This left-hander Montgomery, he's up there throwing 100 miles per hour. I mean, it's Morahone-esque. He's up there throwing 100-mile-per-hour sinkers. So there are good arms in this bullpen. Don't get fooled by that bullpen ERA for the Pirates. There are good arms in this pen. And, you also face 2 really good starters in Ashcraft. And, Paul Skeens was on his game tonight. I thought he looked good. I know he's been struggling. He showed signs, though, in his last start, like we said pregame. Thought Skeens kind of looked back tonight. So it's going to be a problem if he's figuring it out again for his opponents coming up. But he was very, very good tonight. And, look, he's been up and down last 2 months. But we know when that guy is right, he's about as good as it gets in baseball. And he seemed to be on his game here tonight. The Padres are fortunate. Pirates seem to have him on a pitch count tonight. We thought that might be the case coming in. Only threw 87 pitches, so he really could have went back out for more, but 6 really strong, 6 shutout innings for Paul Skeens here tonight. But for as good as Skeens and King both were in this game, both get a no decision. Once again, defense tonight for the Padres, very, very good. Let's hear tonight's scoop of the game.
What was the most crucial defensive play in today's game?
Throw to first is in time.
This is the scoop of the game. Served up fresh by Brewster's Real Ice Cream in La Mesa, the official ice cream of the Padres Radio Network. Roll through their drive-thru, download the app, and get an additional free scoop. Brewster's Ice Cream, the best ice cream in San Diego.
0-1, runner goes, pitch swung on and missed. Campusano's throw is a seed. The tag by Bogarts, and they got him. Mangum is thrown out trying to steal second base. 2 down here in the 4th.
Yeah, really nice throw by Luis Campusano to get Mangum and trying to steal in the 4th inning. And that will be our scoop of the game. Best defensive play of the game. Nice job by Campusano behind the plate. When we come back, we'll continue our daily awards, and we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming your way in a little bit as well. Final score here tonight, Pirates 1 and the Padres 0. Our postgame coverage continues after these words. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network on this Tuesday evening. Final score, Pirates 1 and the Padres nothing, as the Padres have dropped the first two games of this three-game series against the Pirates. Padres will try to avoid a series sweep at the hands of the Pirates tomorrow. As always, our postgame coverage brought to you by Jamul Casino Resort. Hey player, the rooftop pool's open, day passes are available, and the spa is calling your name. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. Let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game. Brought to you by San Diego criminal defense attorney David P. Shapiro. We help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. Learn more at davidpshapirolaw.com.
Relief pitcher of the game here tonight will stay on the Padres side of things. We will hand it to Adrian Morahone, who had a quick and easy 1-2-3 eighth inning. Morahone, 6 pitches in that eighth inning. Made it look easy, as he so typically does. Great job today by Adrian. After 2 scoreless innings and extra innings last night, never allowed the inherited runner, the automatic runner, to score in those extra innings. Morahone comes back out for tonight's eighth inning, 6 pitches, and I tweeted about this earlier, but, Morahone's just tremendous. And there are just a lot of nights where it just seems like he doesn't even break a sweat, and tonight was one of those. 6 pitches, had to face the top 2 hitters in the Pirates lineup, and just had no trouble. So did a great job keeping it a scoreless game. Unfortunately, Mason Miller, the guy who came in after him, Mason giving up his first home run in more than a calendar year, but we'll give relief pitcher of the game to Adrian Morahone. Let's tell you about the Padres' heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health Medical Group.
Well, it was a rough night for the heart of the order here tonight. 3, 4, 5 spots. Machado, France, and Merrill. Manny went 0 for 4. France went 0 for 2. He did walk twice, though. Jackson Merrill 0 for 4. So a combined 0 for 10 with a couple of walks here tonight for the Padres' heart of the order. In fact, the Padres from their number 2 spot in the lineup through their number 7 spot in the lineup tonight, they went 0 for. Cronenworth 0 for 4. Manny 0 for 4. France 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Merrill 0 for 4. Rengifo 0 for 3. Camposano 0 for 3. So, hey, anytime you have that many hitters in the meat of your lineup, 2 through 7 going 0 for, good luck. It's going to be a tough night. And again, the Padres were facing a very good Paul Skeens tonight. I think this Pirate bullpen is they've got some good arms down there. I'm making excuses, but they're facing tough pitching. However, hey, no way around it. It's been an underwhelming couple of nights for the Padres offense, an offense that had, been so good for so long. They only have 2 runs on 10 hits in this series. I think at the very start of the postgame today, I said they had 3 runs. I meant they had 2 runs on 10 hits so far in this series, and they have really struggled with runners in scoring position. Remember, the Padres went 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position yesterday. They were 0 for 7 in that department tonight. So it is a combined, 1 for 20 with runners in scoring position in the first 2 games of this series. No good. No wonder you haven't won the first 2 games of this series. When we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll get you ready for the series finale tomorrow here at Petco Park. If you want to squeeze a phone call in, 833-288-0973, phone number to call. As always, 833-288-0973. Pirates beat the Padres 1-0 here tonight. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues after this. Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score tonight, Pirates 1 and the Padres nothing, as unfortunately the Padres fall for a second straight time against the Pirates here tonight. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Well, you have one game still going on right now. The Guardians lead the Angels 8-6 in the 10th inning in Anaheim. So we'll see how that one ends. Tigers beat the Rays earlier today 4-1 in Detroit. Max Clark, rookie, second home run of his major league career to propel the Tigers over the Rays. Red Sox beat the Marlins 7-3 in Miami. The final in 11. Jarren Duran hit a go-ahead grand slam in the top of the 11th inning. Mickey Gasper also hit 2 home runs in that game for Boston. Rockies beat the Nationals 3-1 in D.C. Hunter Goodman, his 35th home run of the year in that one. Astros beat the Yankees 9-7 in New York. Yainer Diaz, 2 home runs in that game. Jordan Alvarez had a go-ahead triple in the 8th inning in that game as well. Royals 5, Blue Jays 3 in Toronto. It was the Mets over the Brewers, 3-2 in San Francisco. Lindor, Luis Robert Jr. home runs in that game for the Mets. Braves beat the Dodgers in Atlanta 4-3. White Sox over the Rangers 11-7 in Chicago. Orioles beat the Cardinals 13-1 in St. Louis. Pete Alonso, Christian Encarnacion Strand home runs in that game for Baltimore. Alonso, his 31st home run of the season. Well, the score that had the most impact on the Padres tonight, the Cubs led 4-0 against Arizona. Heading into the bottom half of the 8th inning, the D-backs score 3 in the 8th inning to make it a 1-run game. They win it on a 2-run walk-off home run by Ryan Waldschmidt in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Remember, Waldschmidt also had a walk-off home run not that long ago against the Dodgers, and this time he gets the Cubs a 2-run walk-off home run as Arizona wins it. They score 5 runs in the 8th and 9th innings combined to come back, beat the Cubbies 5-4 in Arizona tonight. A's beat the Twins 4-2 in Sacramento. Mariners beat the Phillies for a second straight night 4-1. Cal Raleigh, he's starting to hit home runs again, his 18th home run of the season in that game. And finally, Giants beat the Reds 3-1 in San Francisco. Rafael Devers, his 28th home run. Sal Stewart, his 28th home run of the year as well. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday. So where do things stand in the National League wild card picture at the end of tonight? Well, they look like this. The Cubs still sit in that first wild card spot. They have a 5-game cushion on everybody else on the outside looking in. The Phillies are 2 games up on the Padres for the second spot. The Padres still sitting in that third and final wild card spot. The D-backs winning tonight, so the D-backs do pick up a game. They're now 1 game behind the Padres on the outside looking in. So that was another unfortunate part of today's game. Marlins 4 out, Cardinals 5 out, and hey, the Pirates 6.5 out. We told you yesterday they were going to have a lot of incentive to come in here and win, kind of a last gasp as far as their playoff hopes as we, head towards September. And look, they would have an opportunity tomorrow to sweep and pick up 3 games in 3 days and kind of get themselves at least sort of back in the wild card picture. So it's an important game for both teams tomorrow, no doubt about that. And that's a look at the NL wild card standings at the end of tonight. Well, look, anytime we have a 1-0 game and the 1 run gets scored, well, there's a pretty good chance that however that run comes across the plate, that's going to be our play of the game. Tonight, the play of the game, well, it was a stunner. Let's have a listen.
1 bounce, 1 hit, 1 pitch can be the difference between victory and defeat. What was the most important play in today's game? This is today's play of the game. Presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating and Air, Restoration and Flood. We know how.
0-1, the pitch. Miller delivers, and that's launched in the air deep down the right field line and gone. A home run For the first time this year, Mason Miller gives up a homer, and O'Neal Cruz has put the first run of the night on the board, 1-0 here in the ninth.
Well, no doubt about it. Unfortunately, that was our play of the game tonight. O'Neal Cruz, his 17th home run of the year. He hits the ball at 112 off the bat and tucks it inside the right field foul pole. It really wasn't a question of whether it would be fair or foul off the bat, but did pull it to right field, hit a line drive, and got Mason Miller the first home run that Mason Miller has allowed all season long. In fact, the first home run that Mason has allowed since August 5th, 2025. That was a home run that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit in Arizona. It snapped a 73 game streak, appearance streak for Miller without giving up a home run. And it snapped a 76 2/3 innings, a homerless streak by Miller. So the first time he's given up a home run in more than a year. And the first one he's given up this season. And unfortunately, it comes in a big spot, a scoreless game in the ninth inning. And that was that here tonight as the Padres fall by that final of 1-0. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow. First pitch tomorrow, we have a Wednesday matinee here at Petco Park. First pitch at 1:10 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Right-hander Bubba Chandler on the mound for the Pirates tomorrow, and right-hander Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. As always, if you missed any portion of our postgame coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the free Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcast. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel and watch any portion of our postgame coverage there as well. A look at the final totals here tonight for the Pirates. 1 run, 6 hits, no errors. They left on 5. For the Padres, no runs, 3 hits, no errors. They left on 5 as well. Winning pitcher tonight, Gregory Soto, who improves to 6-4. The losing pitcher, Mason Miller, who drops to 4-2. And the save goes to Mason Montgomery, who picks up his 6th save of the season. Time of game, 2 hours and 22 minutes. And the crowd at Petco Park tonight, another great crowd. 55th sellout of the season, 40,709 in the building on a Tuesday night. Once again, first pitch tomorrow, 1:10 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Kyle Ovenshire, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight, the Pittsburgh Pirates 1 and the San Diego Padres 0. We'll talk to you tomorrow afternoon right here on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.